Tonight, a war on energy. Middle East oil and gas targeted with global economic impacts.
It could be this decade's version of a quagmire for the United States.
Plus, no impact to police priorities.
So we're going to continue with our efforts with enforcement, continue to work with the community.
The chief's response to the end of supervised consumption funding in London. And local support for tariff impacts.
It's been quite challenging since Trump's disruption.
Federal funds to stabilize local manufacturers.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest spike in fuel prices. Gas stations across London were above $1.70 a litre today, and there doesn't appear to be any indication they'll drop in the short term. Gas had dipped to about $1.40 a litre at the end of last year. Since the U.S. and Israel launched their military assault on Iran, though, prices have risen steadily, especially once Iranian forces brought a major oil shipping channel to a standstill. According to industry experts, where the price goes from here will depend on what happens in the Middle East.
Hopefully this conflict comes to an end. We could see oil tumble from $97, $98 a barrel for WTI, $113 for Brent, $128 for Mervyn. We could see it drop to $45 a barrel. Canadian barrels would be $30 a barrel. That's what shorting is doing. So it's a very unique approach to energy. And it means that this is about as high as it's going to get for the next couple of days.
Gas prices also jumped for drivers across Europe after Iranian strikes on key pieces of energy infrastructure in the Middle East. With the latest on the conflict, here's Heather Wright.
An explosion near a Saudi Aramco site in Riyadh lit up the night sky, one of several sites targeted by Iran as this war spreads to energy sites in the Gulf. Iran is retaliating for a strike that hit its South Pars facility on Wednesday. Attacks were reported in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and in the United Arab Emirates. The attacks on energy infrastructure have rattled markets and are leading to concerns about disruption to the global supply chain, with energy prices jumping 10% this morning.
Will backfire politically.
Today, foreign ministers from a number of Middle Eastern countries met in the Saudi capital. So far, they have not responded militarily to Iran's attacks, but warned that could change.
As we have stated quite clearly, we have reserved the right to take military actions if deemed necessary.
Here in Dubai, warning alarms go off daily, with the vast majority of missile and drone attacks successfully intercepted. Work at construction sites continues, and there is little mention of what is generally referred to as the current situation.
We're here in the Spice Souk, which is normally pretty busy, and it's relatively quiet today, partially due to Ramadan, but also the government has asked people to work from home, and school has moved online.
As Ramadan ends, all outdoor prayers for Eid al-Fitr have moved inside for safety, many bracing for what could be a lengthy conflict.
This war is really gone from a short, sharp Venezuelan in and out to it could be this decade's version of a quagmire for the United States, again, just a la Iraq, Afghanistan, but this one's actually got more impacts because it's economic.
In Lebanon, Israel stepped up its attacks on Beirut as it expanded its ground invasion against Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group that operates out of the southern part of the country. Lebanon says the death toll has now climbed past 1,000, with an estimated 1 million people internally displaced. Today, Lebanon's prime minister said his country did not want this war and is asking for negotiations with Israel to end it.
As countries grapple with skyrocketing energy prices, there are also concerns this conflict could soon impact the global supply chain. Aid groups are already sounding the alarm about vital relief unable to get to countries like Afghanistan and Sudan. Heather Wright, CTV News, Dubai.
The attacks on Middle East oil and gas facilities are fueling volatility across financial markets. Today, President Trump insisted the operation will be over soon as he met with Japan's new prime minister. Joy Malbin reports.
It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Japan's new prime minister walking a fine line with this president, the pacifist nation condemning Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon.
Only you, Donald,
who can achieve peace across the world.
But like other allies, reluctant to jump into the president's war, offering economic support instead of warships. Trump is still bitter with NATO nations who rejected his initial call for military support to secure the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil supply route blocked by Iran.
I expect Japan to step up because, we have that kind of relationship. I'm not surprised that they would step up. We don't need much. We don't need anything.
And with more attacks on oil and gas facilities in the Middle East, rattling energy markets, and fast becoming a global crisis, the Trump administration says it plans to remove U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil stranded on ships. Trump was pressed, though, on why he didn't inform allies first before going to war.
We didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
The president facing political pushback as the price tag mounts, and the Pentagon now asking for another $200 billion to fund this war.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys.
And that's raising eyebrows in Congress.
How long is this going on? Are there going to be boots on the ground? How much is this going to cost? And the answer on most of this is, I don't know.
Hoping to reassure Americans, the president claims his operation in Iran will be over pretty soon, saying that he has no plans to deploy ground troops at this time. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. Spring is just around the corner. Tomorrow, in fact, Friday, the 20th. But we still have some snow, and it can be very much a spring-like situation with snow and rain over the northwest. Jet stream is working its way across Michigan State proper into southern Ontario. That's some cooler air, but a warm surge over the next, say, 8 to 16 hours is going to raise temperatures significantly for Friday afternoon. Showers and maybe even some thunderstorm instability headed our way. 6 degrees, seasonal right now, and breezy, partly cloudy tonight. And by the way, the weekend is going to warm up substantially across southern Ontario. I'll break down what you need to know as we look ahead to the first day of spring tomorrow and beyond. It's coming up shortly.
Thanks very much, Gary. London's police chief says the provincial government's decision to cut funding for supervised consumption sites won't impact his policing priorities. London's CarePoint facility is now facing closure in a matter of months. Lauren Stallone reports.
London's police chief Ty Trung is reacting to news from the province that funding will be terminated for 7 supervised drug consumption sites.
We're going to have to just pivot.
The government made the announcement last week. The cuts affect sites located in Toronto, Ottawa, Niagara, Peterborough, and London. The chief says while he understands there are some concerns about public safety, his top priority is keeping the streets of London safe.
I think for us, I'm really focusing on what we are doing in the opioid crisis.
During the London Police Service Board meeting held last month, officials provided an update on the open-air substance use strategy program, saying there have been fewer complaints of open-air drug consumption since the strategy's implementation in April of last year.
Average level of agreement with the statement, my employees have expressed safety concerns relating to the location of the business, dropped from 4.40 to 3.37.
When asked how the province's decision could impact that progress, Trung said,
I think it doesn't impact us as a police service. We're going to continue with our efforts with enforcement, continue to work with the community, and we really need to continue moving forward and look at what is best practices for us.
The sites affected have been given a 90-day notice by the province and are expected to stop operations by mid-June. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
The federal government announced $1.6 million in investments today for 2 companies in London and Stratford meant to alleviate the impact of tariffs.
You need good equipment to make sure that happens, and the equipment that's been purchased as a result of this investment allows for that.
The money amounts to $750,000 for Amro Tool in London and nearly $900,000 for a plastic injection mold producer in Stratford called MVA. It's coming out of the federal government's $100 million regional tariff response initiative. Leaders from both companies say the funding will help stabilize their workforces.
We expect it to both ensure that we keep the jobs we have, and we expect growth of, my estimate would be 10 people over the next year. But automotive has always historically been our largest market, and it's been quite challenging since Trump's disruptions. So to be able to stabilize the workforce we have and have modest growth over the next 2 years is actually a very strong achievement.
Knowing that we have equipment that will be reliable, and by being reliable, it puts us in a position to be able to secure our relationships, our partnerships with our customers.
One day after a substantial investment in military production in Ingersoll, the defense minister was in Kitchener today, announcing more than $300 million more for weapons production. Jeff Pickle reports.
Today in Kitchener, a massive announcement from the federal government.
Today, I'm very pleased to announce that the Defense Investment Agency has awarded Colt Canada with a contract to supply the Canadian Armed Forces with up to 65,402 assault rifle systems under the Canadian Modular Assault Rifle Project. That is unbelievable.
Over 65,000 rifles with a value of approximately $307 million and includes adding up to 70 new jobs at Colt's facility.
But the assault rifle is arguably the most decisive and critical tool at a soldier's disposal.
Also today at the University of Waterloo, the defense minister reaffirming their commitment to advanced research.
Quantum computing will reshape the battle space, putting compute power on the front lines with firepower.
The spending comes with Prime Minister Mark Carney's pledge to invest 5% of the nation's GDP in defense by the year 2035.
Obviously, we've been very reliant on our neighbors to the south for years and years. We'll still work with that neighbor, but we need to be much more resilient and less reliant than we were in the past.
The Defense Ministry says the checkbook is open and Canadian companies are first in line.
We're sending a clear and consistent signal to the private sector. To large firms, yes, but to small and medium-sized businesses everywhere, that Canada is open for defense business.
Business leaders in Waterloo region welcome the opportunity.
I've never seen anything like this before. So it's really important time for us to essentially up our game and be part of the solution to, to what Canada needs at this moment.
Tech startup hub, the Accelerator Center, says the shift to defense is already happening.
They want innovators and entrepreneurs to start thinking about defense and start thinking about how their technology might have a dual-use application.
They've started a website, dualusetech.ca, to help create new ideas.
They've found each other, and they've found they didn't even realize that there were two companies doing work in the Arctic here in the region, that they can connect and combine their solutions.
With money to be made, the tech capital of Canada could be a big winner in Canada's quest to rearm. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
Provincial police say 6 people were hurt in a crash north of Seaforth this afternoon. According to police, 3 adults and 3 young people were injured when 2 SUVs collided. They say 2 people were airlifted to hospital with serious injuries, while a third was taken by land ambulance. The injuries to the other 3 people are not considered serious. The crash happened at the same intersection where a school bus and transport collided 2 weeks ago. Police say they expect to keep the road closed for several hours during their investigations. A second suspect in the Chesham Place weapons investigation has been granted bail. 21-year-old Astrid G left court early this afternoon. She's one of 4 people facing charges stemming from an investigation dating back to January, the details of which are under a court publication ban. G's bail conditions prohibit her from being on Western University property. She's also banned from communicating with several people, including the 3 other suspects. She's due back in court on April 23rd. Local realtors are warning against a proposal at City Hall which would require anyone buying an older home in London ensure their weeping tiles are disconnected from the sewer. With more on the issue, here's Daryl Newcomb.
50,000 houses in London, all built before 1985, still have weeping tiles draining stormwater into the sanitary sewer system. It's why severe storms can trigger basement flooding and sewage overflows into the river. But a proposal at City Hall that would mandate disconnection when an older house is purchased, work that can cost $5,000 to $10,000, is concerning local realtors.
We're a little bit worried that if it was a mandatory program, that it will affect our sellers and our buyers.
In December, a committee held off endorsing the new Pollution Prevention and Control Plan update study because politicians wanted information about alternatives to the mandate tied to home sales.
Much, if not all of my ward would probably be impacted by it. I'm still willing to look at the options. I'm not really willing to just accept it outright at this moment.
A staff report still backs the long-term strategy after reviewing the alternatives, because if the city started charging a fee to penalize homeowners with connected weeping tiles, it would disproportionately hurt low-income households. And the current voluntary disconnection program that's subsidized by City Hall only averages 73 homes each year. At that rate, it would take 685 years to disconnect them all. The staff report emphasizes that creating more storage to temporarily hold the excess water isn't a long-term solution. There will always be capacity issues like in the summer of 2024 when the storage pipe beneath White Oaks Park surcharged, sending sewage into numerous basements. City staff are seeking council direction to simply investigate the potential for a disconnection mandate for home buyers. Implementation would require approval in the 2028 to 2031 multi-year budget, and it could include municipal subsidies to lower the cost of disconnections. But in a local real estate market increasingly focused on affordability, realtors believe more options should be on the table.
We are working to find any solution to help buyers and sellers along with the process, and adding this extra little bump in the road to a sale is not beneficial for the public.
The Infrastructure and Corporate Services Committee will consider the Pollution Prevention and Control Plan update on March 23rd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Construction is officially underway on a new supportive housing facility for local veterans. Officials say there's an estimated 200 veterans experiencing homelessness across southwestern Ontario. The London Veterans Village is being built at Parkwood Institute, and it's expected to open later this summer. The provincial government is rolling out a new primary care medical record system designed to link patient records across Ontario. The system is meant to reduce paperwork for doctors and provide more seamless care for patients by removing redundancies and eliminating extra fees to transfer files from one doctor to another. Provincial government officials say they've surpassed their goal for this past year, connecting more than 330,000 people to family doctors. New primary care teams are supposed to bring another 500,000 Ontarians into the system in the months ahead as well. Young hockey players from across Ontario are in Goderich this week for a March break tradition dating back to the 1950s. With more on the tournament's milestone anniversary, here's Scott Miller.
Nearly 100 hockey games will be played this week in Goderich as Young Canada Week marks its 75-year anniversary.
Young Canada Week is the oldest continually running hockey tournament in the world, and we have 9 years on, we have more than 9 years on anybody else, and we're just going to keep on going.
In 1950, 12 teams played in the first ever March break hockey tournament in Goderich. 75 years later, Young Canada Week, which is run by the Goderich Lions and Goderich Minor Hockey, has grown by leaps and bounds.
The actual tournament is still 9 days long, 3 divisions. We have 44 teams coming, over 90 games.
Corvo says generations of hockey families, including Wayne Gretzky, have played in this tournament.
So I spoke with a gentleman that was wearing his Pee-wee jacket from 1957. People arrived with the 50th anniversary caps on. We had people driving an hour and a half to loan us their memorabilia to put on display. So that just speaks in itself. You don't have to say anything else about how important this is, not just to Goderich, but our community and hockey tradition for 75 years.
Play started last weekend and won't wrap up until Sunday night. By that time, nearly 100 games will be played at Goderich's Sifto Arena, a March break well spent, say the volunteer organizers.
It is beyond tradition. This is the best hockey tournament in the world, in our opinion.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still ahead, the federal opposition leader and his U.S. tour, the strategy behind Pierre Poilievre's American visit, and his high-profile podcast appearance. Plus, the official word from the RCMP. The Mounties say India is not interfering in Canadian affairs.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Pierre Poilievre is wrapping up a week-long tour of the United States, which included an appearance on the controversial Joe Rogan podcast. With more on that conversation and the strategy behind Poilievre's U.S. visit, here's Rachel Aiello.
We've got to get you into the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre taking a bite out of the Big Apple.
It's great to be in the United States of America. Americans love Canada. That's the great news that I take away from this trip.
Before New York, Poilievre met politicians and executives in Austin, Texas, and also sat down with popular but divisive podcast host Joe Rogan for more than 2 hours to talk up Canada.
So there's a narrative in America, and the narrative is that you were about to win and your party was about to win, but then Trump came along and said he was going to turn Canada into the 51st state, and everybody went crazy. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say they went crazy. So we're never going to be the 51st state. And I just wish he'd knock that off so that we can get back to talking about the things that we can do.
The Joe Rogan Experience is one of the most listened to podcasts globally, with an average 11 million listeners per episode. And Poilievre sought to leverage that audience while confirming he hasn't talked to U.S. President Donald Trump about the trade war.
I've said, listen, I'll leave it to the Prime Minister to do the negotiating. And I've said I'll support him any way I can. Even in my visit down here, I'm sending him text messages to tell him what's going on.
Rogan has been criticized for platforming polarizing figures and spreading misinformation. He had invited Poilievre to come on during the last election, but the Conservative leader declined. Now, the party says the podcast is an ideal platform to reach more potential voters, but also speak to Americans.
And we had a great conversation. We need to harness the goodwill of the American people, and what better place to do it than on the biggest podcast in the world.
Tonight, Poilievre will further outline his vision for Canada-U.S. relations in a keynote speech at the Foreign Policy Association in New York. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The RCMP commissioner says there is no evidence suggesting India is currently conducting any foreign interference in Canada. That's in stark contrast to the messaging that's come from Canadian intelligence authorities. Abigail Beeman reports.
The drumbeat of foreign interference followed the Prime Minister during his trip to India, where he touted billions of dollars in deals with the country and invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Canada. Right before he left Canada, a government official said India was no longer involved in foreign interference. A claim that saw pushback from the intelligence community, 6 in Canada who say they are still targets of violence, and eventually, while taking questions after leaving India, from Carney himself.
I would not use those words, okay?
Now, in an exclusive interview on CTV's Power Play, the RCMP commissioner backs up the original comments.
In the files that we have that involves transnational repression, we're not seeing any connection right now with any foreign entity. So, based on the criminal information, the investigation that we have presently.
Mike Duhem told Vashi Kapelos more than once there currently is not evidence of transnational repression by the Indian government in Canada.
We have people that are intimidating people, harassing people, but connecting the dots to a foreign entity, regardless of the country, we don't have that.
While India's High Commissioner to Canada told us in Mumbai it was never happening in the first place.
I've been telling from the very beginning, it's a problem Canada has to resolve itself. I'm just saying it's not a question of no longer. It was a never happened.
Canada's spy agency has called India one of the main perpetrators of foreign interference and espionage, according to its most recent annual report. During the Prime Minister's trip, CSIS doubled down on that, saying its threat assessment has not changed. CTV News has asked again, in light of this new interview, whether India is still considered a main perpetrator. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Gary Archibald is with me tonight. And Gary, as we get closer to this weekend, the first full weekend of spring, it sounds like some spring-like temperatures finally making their way to us.
You're right about that. Good evening, Carlyle. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about some areas of southern Ontario seeing double digits, maybe even mid to upper teens. I put together a spring outlook in bullet form, just to give you an idea of what we meteorologists have been looking into. Environment Canada leading the way. It looks like for 2026, spring will at least start as a rather volatile and, well, fickle season. Periods of warm and cold expected, rain and snow still in the mix. Ice pellets, freezing rain. Expect changes in activity and temperatures over short periods and extremes. Very warm, very cold, rain, snow, and then back to rain. April and May are likely to be wetter than average, and May itself could be a very stormy month. Wet, thunderstorms, and you never know how temperatures are going to prevail this far out, but right now there are suggestions it could be very, very warm and humid. Speaking of warm, we were a degree warmer than average today. Comfortably so. Partly cloudy, and it looks like it's a quiet evening for the most part. Colder through the Midwestern tier of southern Ontario. The winds are relatively light through the overnight, but will be picking up tomorrow, in particular late morning through the afternoon, and that's because of the cold front that's sweeping through that will draw that wind profile and tighten it up, intensify it along the way as it passes through southern Ontario, the Great Lakes Basin. By the way, the prairies, Central Plains combined are really warming up. It's almost 30 degrees in parts of South Dakota. We're in the mid to upper teens in southern Alberta. Some of that warmth, those brighter colors of yellow, orange, and red headed our way for Friday, certainly Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even Monday. Jet stream, right? It's that conveyor belt, that riverbed, about 35,000 feet above the surface. We get a sense of it with the cloud cover and the projection, right? The movement of clouds and precipitation. We're still cold enough in northwestern Ontario and eastern Ontario to see those disturbances producing snow. The next system brings mostly rain through our neck of the woods. And I think tomorrow morning is a wet one. There is snow in the forecast, but it's just clipping Wyerton, maybe Mount Forest, Shelburne, Owen Sound, Tobermory, Southampton, with a light dusting. Most of the snow in heavy amounts, 15 to 25, 30 centimeters, well to our north and east. The rainfall component is there for the city of London and surrounds, due east towards Kitchener-Waterloo and GTA. It's a wet day, but a mild one. For now, tonight, we'll go from 6 degrees down to 3, then 1, all under partly cloudy conditions between 8 p.m. tonight at midnight to start things off tomorrow morning. There's a risk of thunderstorm activity late morning, early afternoon. Look at this, a high of 12 degrees Celsius. Our average is closer to 5. Fair weather on a Saturday. Might see even 10 degrees Celsius. Sunday up to 12 or 13. And showers, it's cloudy. And then just cool. This is the volatility I've been talking about. Down to 1, then 5, then 3, then 11. Wow. Quite the roller coaster ride indeed in terms of temperatures, but hey, this is all spring behind me. Welcome, spring 2026. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. Still ahead, had it up to here with tipping. The new survey suggesting Canadians largely want it gone, but what would that mean for the service industry?
Pure Country 93. London's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's Big 50K Payday.
From the world stage to Canada Life Place, Canada's champions are coming to London. Don't miss Stars on Ice skating into the Forest City on May 3rd, featuring Piper Gillies, Paul Poirier, and more. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets.
A St. Thomas company has announced a more than $3.7 million investment in its own facility. According to company officials, Forest City Castings will also receive a $500,000 grant from the province. They say that money will be invested in new equipment and hiring for 5 new positions. The company makes metal castings for various industries, including the military and medical sectors. A new poll suggests most Canadians want algorithmic pricing banned or regulated. The practice adjusts prices in real time based on demand. It also looks at online browsing habits, time of day, and the person doing the shopping. More than half of respondents told the Abacus data poll they'd support a ban, while roughly a third said stricter rules are necessary. Critics say the practice can lead to people paying different prices for the same product. Tipping culture could be reaching a breaking point in Canada. A new survey suggests a majority of Canadians want to get rid of it. With more on the data and the potential impact for the service industry, here's Kimberly Fowler.
A lot of Canadians say they're pretty much done with tipping.
I think it should be included in the price. You shouldn't be asked to tip.
Just because you're doing your job doesn't mean you need to be tipped for doing your job.
Many businesses implemented suggesting tipping options during the pandemic, but now the expectation to leave a tip has some customers saying it's gone too far.
I used to love tipping extra for really good service, and I feel like that's kind of gone away now. Even for bare minimum service, they expect 18-20%.
And they're not alone. A new survey by H&R Block finds 2/3 of Canadians want to do away with the practice. And nearly 9 out of 10 people say they resent businesses that ask for tips at places where they don't feel tipping is necessary. And 4 out of 10 people say they avoid going to places that ask for tips at the register, like fast food places, coffee shops, or self-service counters.
I go to Chuck's here quite a bit. They don't ask for a tip, and the service is fantastic.
At Chuck's Deli and Convenience at train yards, tips aren't expected, but appreciated.
They have a tip jar, which is optional at the counter, which I do quite often with them because the ladies are fabulous.
The owner believes all tips should be left up to his customers.
Some good customers like to, and some people they don't. They walk out without tipping. One guy, construction worker guys, he grabbed a $50 and he put it for a lady. So you never know.
Chicken, pickle, vegetable? But getting rid of tipping could affect the day-to-day operations in the service industry, and at restaurants, it could mean higher prices for customers to offset the loss of income to employees.
I would assume it would be included in the price. I mean, minimum wage is quite high already, so if tipping were to be taken away, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what the workforce would look like for that.
But many say the tip options make them feel guilty or pressured.
Even though we feel annoyed by this question for the tip on the machine, 57% of us, so more than half of us, will give a tip anyway.
Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
Markets in Canada and the U.S. endured another day of declines. In Toronto, the TSX lost 458 points. In New York, the Dow fell 204. The Nasdaq dropped 62. The Canadian dollar down 1/5 cent today. On commodity markets, gold plunged $290 an ounce. Oil gained 9 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, all together for the love of the game. First Nations from all over Ontario competing in one of the biggest youth hockey tournaments in the province.
Lured by lies, trapping Canadians.
She's a 19-year-old girl.
W5 uncovers a crime syndicate, hunting for traffickers.
They just asked me to find people for them.
Watch W5, Saturday at 7 on CTV and Crave.
Welcome back. We are premiering a new episode of Leading London tonight on our website. In this edition, I'm in conversation with Sarah Campbell, Executive Director for Arcade Street Mission. Here's an excerpt from that conversation. How would you describe the working relationship and you can only speak on behalf of your organization, but maybe frontline agencies in general, the working relationship with London Police?
Well, you know what? We personally rely on the police quite often, our organization, because when things get to a certain level, you need the police to come and you need them to come fast. And so what we have developed with our organization is a really healthy working relationship where we can say, we're going to handle what we can handle within our own purview. Here's our confidentiality policies. We meet with them on a regular basis and say, here's how we're going to handle these things. What do you think? But we also invite them into our conversations early. Can you help us to detect where we might have risk on safety or where we might have risk with the community members? Can you help to teach us how we might help someone who needs to declare a criminal issue? You know, I just talked to you about people being assaulted or harmed out on the streets. You know, they need protecting as well. So we work with police in those ways. On the flip side, there are times that we have to have difficult conversations because the laws that the police are made to enforce, right? The laws are not theirs to make. Their job is to enforce them. We may not agree with what those laws are because how they may be interpreted can actually criminalize homelessness or poverty. We don't want that to happen. The truth is most police officers don't want that to happen either. So it's a conversation.
For my full interview with Sarah Campbell, you can head to our website, ctvnewslondon.ca. The University of Oxford published its annual World Happiness Report today, ranking Canada 25th. The report highlights how people under 25 in Canada, the US, Australia, and New Zealand all have significantly lower outlooks on their futures. Researchers point to heavy social media use as a key contributor, especially for teenage girls in English-speaking countries. Finland was ranked the world's happiest country for the 9th straight year, with several other Nordic countries included in the top 10. New data from Stats Canada is outlining screen time impact for kids. Researchers studied the same cohort of kids in 2019 and 2023, finding 44% followed the Canadian Pediatric Society's screen time guidelines. That's 2 hours for kids between 5 and 17 years old, 1 hour for kids between 2 and 5 years old, and no screen time for kids under 2. Children who followed the guidelines were less likely to have anxiety, wear glasses, or have difficulties learning, remembering, or making friends.
It's time now for your London list. I'm joined now by Weaver from Pure Country. Weaver, unfortunately, March break is officially coming to an end.
But it's coming to an end in a big way. MallCon is on at White Oaks Mall on Friday. And this is a ton of vendors showing up and showing out and showing the kids a great time to wrap up what's been a great week so far.
Amazing. And this weekend, there's also a couple events going on. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, let's not forget about our London Knights. Friday is the final home game of the regular season against the Windsor Spitfires at Canada Life Place. And then Saturday, the team is on the road in Flint, where they're wrapping up their regular season with the playoffs around the corner. Also this weekend, we got some concerts. You know I love those. Adrian Sutherland and Graham Jones, they're two Indigenous artists putting on one great show that's going to be at Aeolian Hall on Saturday night. Thought I was in the clear for a minute, that was true, then I thought about you. And as well, the Country Rising Tour with a good friend of mine, Nate Haller. That's going to be at Cowboys. And from what I heard, tickets are a very reasonable price, so I hope the place fills up and we have a great time.
Do you know where people can go to get those tickets if they're interested in attending?
Yeah, well, to start, the links at purecountry93.ca would be where I tell people to go for sure. And as well, on Saturday, don't forget, you've got the I Heart Beer Festival. I like these ones because I'm non-committal. I don't like to try new things because I'm worried I'm going to waste it and I didn't like it. These festivals are the greatest because you can just get a little cup, see if you like it, and move on with your day.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like there's a lot going on in the next few days.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great weekend ahead.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Weaver. There you have it. That's your London list.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot of the day. Thanks to Paul Rutherford for this great image. Expect showers for the late evening tonight into Saturday morning. That's the trend over the next 48 hours. Tomorrow's the first day of spring. It will be warmer than seasonal, and that too will carry through the weekend. 11 degrees Celsius on a wet Saturday, 8 degrees on a Sunday. In and around the city of London, we can expect several degrees above seasonal, being the trend for locales within about a 20-kilometer radius. Enjoy your weekend weather.
Many Canadians are trying to get out of the Middle East in the midst of the escalating violence. One man from Ottawa is among them, stuck in Lebanon at the moment and witnessing firsthand the war's destructive impact. Stefan Keys reports.
A wave of Israeli airstrikes, and this one is among the latest in Lebanon. An apartment building in Beirut targeted because it was believed to house members of Hezbollah. The casualties said to be at least 10, and a Canadian man from Ottawa witnessed it all.
It was devastating, like having the front desk in my hotel and security knock on every single door, telling us to evacuate, going down, people on the streets running, screaming.
Ahmad Araji is a digital creator. Ottawa is home, but for him, so is Beirut. It's where he films his show and interviews notables. But now the Canadian is looking to join others in a mass exodus and return to safer soil. Lebanese officials say the blast he witnessed came with only an hour's notice.
It was intense. That's the least to say.
Meanwhile, Ottawa is estimated to be home to just under 30,000 people who identify as having Lebanese heritage. The country they love caught up in the conflict with Iran. Israel taking issue with Hezbollah because it is backed by Iran. And Hezbollah is on Canada's list of known terrorist entities.
It's important to point out that once a war starts, you really can't control the direction it's going to go in.
So far, this one has gone all over. As the Gulf states of the Middle East become increasingly under threat, and the world watches what happens in the Strait of Hormuz, a channel to carry oil now blocked, with global consumers paying the price of the backlash at the pumps. But for the Ottawa man who has seen this firsthand, along with so many others, the only goal now is to ensure all of this doesn't cost them their lives.
Going through that made me realize that maybe I need to pack my bags and go back home.
Stefan Keys, CTV News.
Two Canadian police departments separated by thousands of kilometers are reporting two planned attacks at rural schools by two teenagers. Police in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia and Rivers, Manitoba say they received tips from Interpol and the FBI about a conversation between a 15-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy in their respective communities. According to police, one of those teenagers now faces a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. There are worsening concerns in British Columbia over flooding as heavy rain pours down on the province's southern region. The flood watch goes from the Fraser Valley to the Sunshine Coast. Rain warnings are in place for Metro Vancouver, southwestern BC, and western Vancouver Island. Up to 150 millimeters of rain is possible in some areas. Environment Canada officials say the rain will intensify in Metro Vancouver tonight and continue into tomorrow.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
I'm Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight. It airs every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and we invite you to join us. This Saturday, Brandon Prust, a former NHLer and London Knight, will be joining us to talk about Hockey Helps the Homeless, a super fun event you just might want to get involved in. Fanshawe College has their open house coming up. We'll get the details. And we bring Nick Paparella back to the hot seat. That's all coming up this Saturday at 8 a.m. See you then.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, hockey teams from First Nations all over the province coming together in Toronto. With more on the Little Native Hockey League, here's Sean Leathall.
There are tiny players.
We're going to get the puck and score.
All the way to the biggest, with fans packing the arena. It's called the Little Native Hockey League, but words used to describe this event are anything but little.
It's grounded in culture. It brings all our communities together. Pride of your people, who you are, where you come from.
The LNHL brings teams from First Nations from all across Ontario. Over 270 teams in 10 arenas come to Markham for this 4-day tournament. Gerard Pelche is an organizer and a former professional player who took part in the first LNHL as a kid back in 1971.
And it was really nice to represent my First Nations at the time. I remember that. I am playing for Wiki.
Wiki, or Wikwemekong First Nation on Manitoulin Island, has a team skating in yellow and purple. Girls playing in the oldest competitive division, and they embody this tradition.
I've been playing since I was really small, and I love it. It's like my favorite time of year.
Many players living elsewhere come here to join their First Nation team. The common lessons are teamwork, cooperation, and pride. After a win, Coach Ruby Trudeau from Wikwemekong is emotional.
I really want to say I'm proud of you all.
Because many of her players are in their final year. But when players graduate, there's plenty to take their place. At the rink next door, some U9 players are taking part in their first LNHL. Here from Brunswick House First Nation, 4 hours north of Sault Ste. Marie.
It's a good tournament and everyone scores and some people don't.
Coach Taylor Tangi played here as a kid, and now she's coaching her own kids along with her father and sister.
They work so hard, and their smiles say it all.
Sean Leathong, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.